Well, hello again. Today on Ham Radio for Non-Techies, we're going to be making a couple corrections, give you guys some news and updates. Congratulations are in order for one of our fellow YouTubers. And it's a whole bunch of new information for you guys right here, right now on Ham Radio for Non-Techies. So welcome back, guys. I've got some cool things to talk about today. Hopefully it won't go too long, but we'll just have to see. I got a lot of information here. I'm trying to cram a bunch of things. It could have been little individual shows, but I think I can get it all done in one shot here. First and foremost, though, congratulations to Jason KC5HWB over at Ham Radio 2.0 for 6 years on YouTube. He had his celebration last night, had a video for that. If you guys go over to his channel and check that out, he's got some really cool info over there for you. One of the corrections I wanted to make is when I did the review of the mobile radios, it was supposed to be top 5, and somewhere in my presentation, when I was writing up the presentation cards, I left out one of the radios. And I made an edit down below in that video saying, "Hey guys, I screwed up, blah blah blah. I didn't talk about that radio." So I want to go ahead and talk about that now and just get that out of the way. So let's go over to my desktop. And real quick here, the radio that I skipped out on was a Yaesu FTM 300DR. At the time of the recording, it was $459.99. Dual band radio, great radio for your mobile rig. It does digital, analog, FM mobile transceiver, GPS, APRS, and Wires X. No touch screen, unlike the FTM, like the FTM 400 XDR. But it's still a very good radio. Now, my only reason for putting this in there is if you didn't want to spend the extra $110 on the 400, then the 300 might be a way to go for you. Now, I went back and looked over at the link that I have for this video here at Ham Radio Outlet, and you might have to look around, maybe some other suppliers out there, maybe Gigaparts or DX Engineering. I have a whole list on the hamradiofornontechies.com website you can go and check out. See if one of them has this in stock, if this is something you're interested in getting. It's still a very reliable radio, detachable face. You can mount it somewhere else. It comes with pretty much comes with pretty much all the stuff you need to get it ready to go. Obviously, you need to get an antenna and run wire and other things we discussed when we were talking about the 400 when I did that install on my truck. But I think it's a really good radio. I don't have any issues with it other than that, it's not touchscreen like the 400. Once you've had touchscreen, you don't really go back. It's just one of those things for me. But if you're not in the budget for that extra $110 cost, plus all the other accessories, I think this would be a pretty decent alternative. And you'll still be happy with it. It still does the dual bands, it'll reach everything, does, 2 meter and 440. But check that out and research it. And that leads me into my next topic here. Let's go back to my regular cam. My next topic here, and I touched on this lightly on one of my other shows when I was doing reviews on all these radios. When I tell you guys about these radios, these are based on reviews that I sat down and read and did my research on, talking to other people in the community that have these radios and see what they like. But, it's not law. If you're going to buy a radio, you're going to make an investment like this, especially spending hundreds of dollars, even $1,000, you really need to do your research on these things. It'll help you out. It will make sure you're getting the best radio for you. And maybe you don't want to buy, if you buy too little radio, you'll outgrow it really quick and be really upset and go, now I got to go buy another radio or find a way to sell this thing, go buy another radio. You don't want those problems. So if you can buy a little bit more radio than you might need, if it's something you think you might be interested in getting into, from the features that it has, I'd purchase that based on your research. But do your research on these things. I can only give you guys suggestions or recommendations based on things that criteria that I might find interesting, or just basic reliability. I try to only put up radios that I think are extremely reliable and that will not give you problems. I mean, I don't like buying things twice if I don't have to. So the big thing with me is I try to spend as much money as I can to buy as much radio as I can afford the first time. And if it has a couple extra features I'm not going to use yet, great. Maybe down the road I'll get into them, maybe I won't. But at least I have the option there without spending any additional cash on it. So do your research when you're buying radios. The next thing I want to touch on, this is probably could have been its own show again, but I want to just go ahead and get it in here. If I can only buy one radio and I had a specific budget to stay on, just one, like, let's stay with HTs. If I can only buy one HT radio to deal with right now because I had limited cash, it would probably be this UV8D Plus from Wouxun. I think this is a fantastic little radio. It's very rugged. It's definitely a step up from the Baofeng radios out there. And yeah, it's going to run you about $110 for the radio. You'll probably want to upgrade the antenna like I did here with one of those diamond. Was that the... This is the SRH 77CA. So you want to upgrade that antenna, and of course, upgrade the, if you can, get the BNC version of this one and get that little BNC to SMA connector to upgrade the whole radio itself. But you're looking probably about $140, $150 total. But what this radio does is going to suit you for a long time. It's going to help you out. It's just going to be reliable. You want something, if you dropped it, it's not going to smash into a million pieces. And I know some people say, well, I dropped my Baofeng. Yeah, great. This one here, I know for a fact is very rugged. I've dropped it a couple times. There's not even a scratch. I mean, you look at it, not even a scratch on it. So, I mean, it's really good little piece. And the extra batteries for this one also are relatively cheap. I think the batteries on this one are running about 29 bucks. I picked up, So I picked up the extra battery for it. And this is also a 2900 milliamp hour battery, like the one that comes with the UV8D Plus. The reason why I got the Plus is because it had that upgraded battery in it. It had a couple extra features, but mainly it's for the battery. But I bought a spare battery anyway. Always keep one on charge. So if I had to go out anywhere and I wanted just one radio to carry, you know, aside from my Yaesu, which I love this radio because everything else I got is Yaesu. But this one here is one that I think is rugged enough to carry out with you on a daily basis, be like your EDC radio. The audio on it is really good. It's very crisp and clear. I have not had any problems with this. Now, the only cons to it are programming it is a little weird. Not impossible, but if you know what the different functions, what they mean, and how to actually program, like say you're in an area that has a repeater that your group uses or your club uses, if you follow along with those parameters and put those into the radio, you're fine. You can also program this. I think they have their own software that you can download and program, and you plug it right into the little side thing over here, which I can't get apart now for whatever reason. But you take off this little side piece, plug your wire into it, plug it into your computer. You can program everything that way and just be done with it. But I think it's a good radio. And right now, let's see. Let's go to the desktop one more time. Get this all set up here. I got these from buytwowayradios.com. They were really good with helping me out and making sure I got my stuff on time. And they also sell the antennas. So you can get the antennas from them as well, or you can get them from various other places. Amazon has them. Hamradio.com has them. But right now, it looks like they're out of stock. So maybe since my last video, a lot of you guys took it to heart and wiped them out of their radios. They're usually pretty good about getting them back in. But like I said, $109.99 for the radio. And maybe about $15, $20 for the upgraded antenna, and like $3 or $4 for the BNC to SMA connector. And you're good to go. I think it's a great little radio to have. No reason why you shouldn't have one if you want something that's not going to be... doesn't fall under disposable, but if I lost it or something happened to it, I wouldn't be as upset as I would if it happened to my Yaesu. If my FT3D got hit or something like that, I'd be a little devastated by that just because of the extra amount of money it costs to buy that versus this one. So for $110, it's a massive upgrade from any Baofeng you're ever going to buy. It's got fantastic features. Little difficult here and there to program, and maybe because I haven't done it in a while. When I first got it, I was sitting here, I was just like, I'd only been a ham for a couple of weeks. I got the radio, I was like, oh my God, how do I do this? I had to sit there and play with different settings. For the longest time, I couldn't get into my repeater locally. And then finally something clicked, like, oh, I'll do a little more research. And I went back and tried it again, and boom, got on the radio, and I've been using it ever since. I use it all the time. So it's worth having if you only had one radio and that you had if you say you had a low budget, if you can only get one radio, that's my pick. And that one I do stand by. So other little things here. Upcoming show. I'm going to be doing a show on a random wire antenna with a 9-to-1 Unan. And I kind of, here's a little sneak peek. I actually spent the weekend building this thing out. So I 3D printed the box and the lid. And I'll have the links for all the stuff in that video when I do it. But I'll just kind of show you guys what I'm doing here. We'll take it out and test it. I'm waiting on the wire to come in right now, which is why I'm not really shooting the show for that yet. But this is just something I found online, and I thought it was really cool. I want to give it a shot and see how it works. So that'll be an upcoming show for you guys. So keep that in mind and stay tuned for that. By the way, guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It'll help the YouTube algorithm show my video to other ham radio enthusiasts out there and put me out there on the search results. Also, if you guys like the stuff that I bring to you on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing. Click the little bell and be notified of any time I put out new videos. Okay, so the last thing I want to touch on is, and this is something, some of you guys are coming on this channel. You've never done anything in ham radio. You're still trying to get, maybe you're still trying to get your technician. I gave you guys some great resources. Go back and check out hamradiofornontechies.com, where I have outlined every single tool and every single book you can possibly ever want to help you read, study, and pass your technician, general, or extra exams, depending on how far you want to take the ham radio hobby for your life. With saying that, if you are a technician and you're considering maybe getting on into general, maybe you want to study for your general, or maybe you're currently studying for your general, or let's just go to those people that are like, I'm never going to get my general. I don't need my general. You might want to consider it. And this is why. If you remember in your technician book, when you were studying for your technician, the sun has cycles, and they run about 11-year cycles. And depending upon the sun's activity, meaning sunspots, geomagnetic storms, this and that, that affects propagation, how your radio reaches on HF channels. Well, we've been at the low end of that now. We're coming down to the low end and getting ready to come back up. And this summer, those channels that you might not have been able to hear before because of the lack of sun activity will really start to pop. So here is my challenge for you. Technician's great. You have some HF privileges with a technician license, but not nearly as much as you do with a general. So if you are considering, or if you ever if you're ever curious about getting onto the HF stations or on the HF frequencies, and you wanted to really try to work those things, study and upgrade to the general. Get your general license now, especially before, I think they're talking about implementing that $35 that upcharge on the licensing. That's coming. That's inevitable. It's going to happen. So if you can get your general now for $15 as opposed to 50, might be worth doing. But the reason I'm saying this is there's going to be a lot of open frequencies, a lot of ham activity coming out this summer because the sun cycle's coming back now, and we're going to start having better propagation on the HF frequencies. There's going to be a ton of activity on these HF frequencies this summer and going on from here on out. So if you can get the materials to study for your general, again, remember, go to my website, and there's lots of stuff on there. I got the online practice test links. I've got phone apps for both iOS and Android. I have all the recommended books that I suggest you guys take a look at and consider. And go ahead and get your general. I think you'll be a lot happier because it opens up so much more to you in the ham radio world to have access to all those extra frequencies. I don't normally push extra, one, because I'm not an extra, I am a general. But I looked at the stuff when I was doing, I have a sheet on there. There's a special site on the place on the website where I talk about the different channels and privileges you have on each level of ham radio license. And when I looked at it myself, I was looking at general, and I looked over here at what I get with extra. The stuff that I get with extra, it's not enough to make me sit there and have to deal with the 50 question test. Maybe I'll change my mind down the road, but right now, where I'm sitting, I'm pretty happy at general because I've got a plethora of channels to play with. Anywho, guys, I think that is pretty much everything here. I just wanted to jump on here real quick, let you guys know a couple things, make some corrections, because I felt really bad for days after I did that, because I'm sitting here, I'm writing up the stuff on YouTube, getting ready to upload the video, like top 5s, like I went back and watched the videos, like there's only 4 in the video. What the, oh my God, I screwed up. So I renamed it top 4 favorite mobile radios. So I will try not to make mistakes like that in the future, but it happens sometimes. I got a lot of show prep I do. I try to take notes. If I'm doing slides, I got to make up all the slides, and I just forgot. I mean, it's human error. Anyway, guys, y'all have a great day. 73s, and if you got any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will get back to you. This is Ham Radio for Non-Techies. My name is Scott. My call sign is KI5NPL. You guys have a great day.